We're back to the continuation of the story from minutes ago. If you missed any, catch it on the Morning X podcast. This is the best of the Morning X with Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. 99X.
Now talk about preparing for a competition. A lot of people might think, well, it's easy. You don't eat for 3 days and you just make yourself real hungry. Obviously, that's not how it works. It's kind of the opposite, isn't it?
That's the rookie mistake. When I took this championship right here, the World Pound Minis, I ate a buffet. The World Championship was held at 7:00 at night.
Uh-huh.
Well, that morning I ate a big, huge buffet in New York.
Dude, you've got to be banned from Golden Corral. I mean, your name's got to be on a blacklist.
Yeah, no thank you.
But you have to, like this article I read just ironically the other day was talking about competitive eating, and it said that what some people would do is, since the idea is to stretch your stomach as much as possible, that some guys will just drink gallons and gallons of water to almost make their stomach like a water balloon to stretch it out, and then they, get rid of the water, but now their stomach is big enough to hold all the food. Is that a technique?
There's a few of us, because the competitive eating is like a small family, just like NASCAR, and a couple of my friends do that. But I look at it this way: the water is easily digested into your system. Whether the breakfast buffet, it takes a few times in the hours of the day to actually digest and to be gone. So if you drink the water and try to stretch it out, your stomach really is going to go back to normal before you know it. Maybe that's my way of thinking. Now, everybody else on the circuit has a different way of thinking.
What size is your waist?
It's 40. Well, actually, these are 50. So it's around 44 to 50.
Those are overalls.
Yes.
You got kind of a lumberjack look going. Real tall, big guy. I got to ask you, it's a horrible question, but do you keep all of that down after the competition, or does it come back up at any point?
Good question. Some of the people make it come up unnaturally, like to regurgitate it, but I don't, because I consider that an acid reflux, because you already have the acid starting to mess with the food. And that's like having a very serious acid reflux. I just let it keep it down naturally.
So you don't like to regurgitate?
No, because I consider that very dangerous.
Okay.
How did you get into this? Like, at what age?
What do you start doing that?
Yeah.
Well, make a long story short, I did a lot of competitions around Atlanta, especially on some other radio stations. Even when 99X was Power 99 years ago, you had different type of competitions, and I started blowing people away. When I mean blowing away, just walked off with the contest. And we started hearing more and more about Kobayashi. And I got on the internet to see how we can get myself to Coney Island. And next thing you know is that they came to Atlanta for the first time last year in 87 years of the contest out at Zoo Atlanta. And I did the rookie mistake like Jimmy was talking about. I did 15 hot dogs in 3 minutes, but I did it on an empty stomach.
Oh.
And I was not used to the grease. I wasn't used to the heavyweight and everything, and had a little accident. And then everybody was really disappointed because they were trying to get somebody from Atlanta to go up there. So I flew myself to Philadelphia, and I trained like I normally train. In other words, instead of listening to everybody else, I trained the way that I know my body does. And 3 of the Japanese showed up in Philly, which made it even much worse. But we did a little trick where I'm a little bit fast. They weren't used to Americans being as fast as they were. They hit the wall, and I walked off after doing 20 hot dogs in 12 minutes. I took I took the Philadelphia, which qualified me for Coney Island.
Well, what about now? Like, how many hot dogs can you eat now, like in a minute?
Well, in Coney Island, I finished 4th place behind Kobayashi.
How many? That's 20.
Which is 20, which we called the deuce. And right now, since you're asking me that, when we did this 2 weeks ago, you have to remember what I've come from. This is just back in June. What I've come from just qualifying from Coney Island, I just now beat all the top Americans and the top Russians. So the only person left to beat is actually Rich Lefevre and Kobayashi.
Now, you weren't on the Glutton Bowl?
No, because I just joined this.
Oh, you just started up.
Yeah, I just joined this in, say, in May.
Now, you mentioned your weight is 290. Which is higher, your weight or your cholesterol?
My weight.
Okay.
Because we do take a blood test every month. Check for sugar, check for sodium. We're very cautious. The doctor knows what I do. So, everybody is on the same wagon. We know what's going on, so we know what the cautions to take. Because sometimes you can taste a little bit too much sodium on you. You taste a little bit too much sweet, so you know to kind of lay off those foods.
This is Dale Boone. He is a world-class competitive eater. Are you the world champion or are you the Russian champion? What would your calling card say?
The world Palmini champion.
Have you ever gone through an entire roll of toilet paper in one sitting?
Almost close.
When they see him heading towards the
you have to
bathroom.
remember this. Me and two other of the competitive eaters. I'm talking about, like, I'm ranked 8th. Number 7, number 8, and number 9 were in Alaska. And you have to remember, like, the one that beat me ate 6.5 pounds of cabbage. I ate 6 and 1 5.5. And then we're catching the airplane coming back, and the 3 of us are on the airplane.
Have you ever thrown up?
Just the very first time that I ever got into the professional side of it. The first time I tried Nathan's hot dogs, but other than that, I've had no other problem.
Now, what is your favorite food to eat? For enjoyment, what do you like to wolf down?
Russian Palminis.
Really?
Well, maybe that's why he's the world champ.
How are you with donuts?
Oh, donuts, I'm excellent.
How many donuts? How many like Krispy Kreme donuts can you down?
Last time I tried that, I think I downed a dozen donuts in like 2 minutes.
A dozen in 2 minutes.
A dozen donuts in 2 minutes.
You want to see
Krispy Kremes are the best.
You just go, funny you should mention.
Emily.
Yeah.
All right, now
I want to ask him about one other thing on here because we tried this on the air one time. Butter, sticks of butter.
Oh.
And this guy that won 7 quarter-pound sticks in 5 minutes.
7 in 5 minutes. We did this the other night over for the tryouts for the $10,000 dare, and this James, the guy who won the $10,000, big guy, got 1 stick and was halfway through the second one and hunked. He couldn't even keep 2 sticks down.
Yeah.
What's in that makes you just yak?
Butter.
Just the butter.
How about
It's sweet and it's rich.
Yeah, it's the oil. It's just like I have some. Here's what I'm do. I have 2 dozen donuts here.
You won't believe where this is headed. More after a quick break. This story isn't over. You're on the best of the Morning X on 99X.